H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.
Do you see? I'm not using any classes here, right? So this is a direct implementation which we are doing it here.
I see.
Okay, so because
So
Mhm.
the top implementation, which is already there in 1.7.
Yeah, this is the way you do it in your 1.7 because let's say you want to just print, you want to take the help of an interface, no doubt, because always you program using an interface, and using your IT worker, you just want to print whether he's an IT worker or whether he's a non-IT worker. For that reason, what you do, you create an IT worker class and then you implement your IT worker with your IT interface, worker interface, and then you basically can override here, no problems at all. Otherwise, if you do not override it here, if I comment this out, okay, if I comment this out here, okay, so if I do it in this way, the moment I say IT worker, it is basically going to invoke your IT workers working method, okay. And then you say working, and basically what you get, you just get one line of code wherein it says I'm a Java IT worker. Okay, so it's very well plain and simple. But here in this case, I don't want to have any class. Why do I need to have a class? Because I just want to print this. Okay, I just gave you a very small example of your Lambda expression. All right. Now, if suppose there is some kind of a calculation, you want to do a calculation in your one line of code, you do not want to have any kind of implementation from any of the class. Okay, you can have the calculation here itself instead of depending on a particular class and invoking a particular method. Okay.
So Jairam, are we just trying to avoid implementing these methods in the classes when we are implementing an interface? I'm trying to see what Lambda expression's advantages are here.
Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, you do not depend on a particular method to have your own a piece of code written into it. Okay. Now here, if you see, I want to override something out here, right? So what I did. So what I did out here, the moment I created IT worker, now IT worker has already got a default implementation. It says, let's say I'm saying I am a default implementation. Okay. Now, in order to, I don't want to print that. So what you do, you basically again override it the time you create an instance of your class here. Okay. Now, ultimately what you're doing is you are again doing some functionality out here which is going to override all your other implementation, and you're just going to print this. Okay, the same thing, at times you might be having this kind of requirement and you tend to use this. Okay, the same thing I'm going to do it without taking the help of a class also. I will just have one particular interface. That interface, when I say on that interface, I am just going to invoke a particular method. In that particular method, the moment I invoke that, it is going to run the functionality which is inside your Lambda expression here. Okay, I'll try to push up some more examples down the line so that at least at this point of time, just have an idea what a Lambda expression and how do we can use it. Okay, so down the line, I promise I'll just add some more extra examples. And we'll see the other examples related to Lambda expressions also, which will give you a good understanding of what a Lambda expression is. Okay.
Jairam, only the bottom part is the Lambda expression, right? The worker interface, non-IT worker.
Yeah, only this is the Lambda expression. Okay. If I put this in a single line out here. Okay, so this is my entire lambda expression. I don't need this at this point of time. Okay, let me even remove this. Okay, so this is what I have it right now. Because if I have multiple statements, then I can add multiple statements using your curly braces out here. If I have
So even if I'm implementing the method right here, it is going to call the working class from the interface, right?
you're using a lambda expression, you cannot implement or override anything as such.
But
Okay.
still it is going to call the working method in the IT worker, right?
No, not at all. See, right now, let me even comment out all these things. So right click, run as Java application. Okay, so nothing is getting called. The moment I say this one on a non-IT worker, right? Run as Java application, then only your this particular expressions method this SOP is going to get invoked. Okay. It is something like what do you have it here? It's you're having a SOP here, right? So that SOP is getting printed out here. Or otherwise, if you go to your if you invoke this method, what all things are there in the method, it gets printed basically.
Okay.
Okay. The same thing goes for your lambda expression also. You have to invoke the method in order to, and as you know, you only have one method in it. Okay. And that method you're just invoking it out here.
Jairam, where are you getting the non-IT worker object from? Where did you take that?
This is the one.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Okay.
So how didn't you have to follow the entire path where you said worker interface, non-IT worker, you said new IT worker?
Yeah, this is what we have it, what we had it initially. Okay, I've got two versions out here. One is with the normal implementation. Okay, one is we'll do one thing. I'll copy this, paste it here, and remove all these things out here. Alright, so this is one version of it, very plain and simple version of it, wherein you okay, Control Z here and this and here this. Okay, so the three versions right now. One is the default way how you invoke a method on your IT worker. The second one, you are again overriding it in the class in the at the time you create an instance of this particular IT worker. Okay, the third is your using a lambda expression. Okay. All right. Down the line, even we'll see how I can put on more examples and make you guys more explain or give you a very wide understanding of what is a lambda expression, because in JDK 1.8 there'll be a lot of places you'll be using lambda expression. So it's a very good idea to have a good understanding of what a lambda expression is. Okay.
Yeah. Basically, it creates a class internally. The compiler will create a class internally with its own name, and then assign by implementing this worker interface, and then assign it to the non-IT worker variable, right?
What class it is? There is no class at all.
No, we are not writing a class, or we will not mention any class name.
Yeah, virtually you can think of it, but it is not going to create any class out here. Okay. Okay, so without lambda interface class main class with lambda, is this the correct way of thinking? One sec. Without lambda interface. Okay, with lambda interface with one method main class. Yeah, with lambda expression you need to have only one method. Okay, without lambda expression, I mean, as I said, without having an interface having only one method, you cannot basically have this kind of implementation in your code. Okay, if you know your interface is only having one method, then you can use it as a lambda expression. Okay. I would request you guys to please practice this because it's more important to understand. And even the next chapter, when we talk about threads, also we'll try to use the runnable, in which I'm going to tell you how to use your lambda expression as well. Okay. And every now and then, if I get a chance, I will just put on this particular information to you so that you get used to this lambda expression. Okay. All right. We just have 15 minutes of time right now. I will just take up a short topic now. Okay. We'll talk about string. Okay. Now we know we have been using string a lot in all the programs for saying string name, string place. Okay. Now let's see something more about strings right now and understand what it is all about. Okay. So right click, new, package dot string, finish, new class string example, finish. All right. So what am I going to do here? Plain and simple. I just say string name equals to 1. Okay. I say string, okay, name equals to, name plus equals to 2, right? So when I say sys out and type in the name out here, right click, run as Java application. So I get it as 1 and 2. Okay. Other version of it, I say, okay, I say name equals to name plus three. Okay. So again the same, if I just print this out, right click, run as Java application. Okay, I get it as 1, 2 and 3 because I'm basically concatenating okay, I'm basically concatenating the value of your name, and then I'm adding the 2 into 1, I'm adding the 3 into 1 and 2 again. Okay, very plain and simple to understand. Okay, now whenever you talk about any of the class, as you know, string by itself is a class. Okay, it has got its own hierarchy. It implements realizable, comparable, character sequence. We'll see a couple of things in the coming sessions. Okay, now here in this case, if I want to get the length of the string, you know that if I say sys out name dot length, that means already there is a method which is having some implementation which is going to give me the length. So I don't have to get deep into it because this has already been implemented. Right click, run as Java application. So I get the value as 3 because the length of this string is 3. Okay, not even interested in this also. Okay, now I do some concatenation 2, and again I concatenate 3 out here. Okay, and then you just print this. Well and good. Now the question is, how many object gets created? Okay, now usually before even talking about that, if I say string, okay, so let me say string name equals to new of string. Okay, now I can do it in this way also. I can directly say string place equals to, okay, new place equals to, let's say, New York. All right. Now in Java, okay, So you can either do it in this way, you can even do it in the other way out also. So this is what a facility which a strings gives it to you. All right. Now what next? I will create one more string out here. Let's say name2. Okay. So what did I do out here? I created two objects for me. One is a name1. Okay. The other one is a name2. Now, what if I say, just watch closely. What if I say if name1 equals to name2? Okay. And I'm just going to say here sys out both are same, else different. Okay. Now, can you guys type in what will be the value of this? Whether I'm going to get both are same or different.
Different.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other answer from anyone? Same. Okay.
Same.
All right. So let's see. Let us run this and see what it is basically.
Oh, sorry. Suppose I thought you had two of the other names.
No, it is one and one out here. Okay. Okay. Right click, run as Java application. You see it as a different. Okay. You do not see it as same because they are in different memory banks. Hence, it's different. Correct. Yeah. That's correct. Okay. Now, what basically happens? You have two strings. So ultimately, in your memory. Okay, in your memory, you'll be creating two objects because everything is an object out here, and you are basically checking these two objects out here. Okay, we'll talk something more about it in the next in the coming minute. Okay, now instead of saying if name1 equals to name2, okay, I'll just try using, and this is not equals because what is a name1? This is name1 and this is your name2. Name1 is referring to your this guy. Name2 is referring to your this guy. Okay. And what is this reference? This reference has got the memory address of this guy, and this reference has got the memory address of this guy. And as I know, they don't belong to the same reference at all. Okay. What if I say string name11 equals to name1? Okay. Now what did I do right now? I am referring name1 to this object, and I created a name11. Okay. And I've assigned the value of name11 to n11, which is ultimately is going to refer to your, this is, let's say, 1. Okay. Now let's see what is going to be the output right now. I simply say sys out. Okay. So if I say if name1 equals to name11, otherwise I'll just say sys out. Okay, so this will basically give me whether it is true or false, right? Now I run this. Let me copy this out here. Right click, run as Java application. Right now I get it as true because your name1 is referring to string 1 as an object. The same name1 I'm assigning it to the string reference, that is your name11. And here at this point of time, I'm checking whether your name1 is equals to the name11 or not. Okay. Now the next concern, I have the value name1 as 1, name2 as 1 also. I know that, I see it with my eyes, right? But why still this is different? Because we know that it basically points to two different references. Okay. Now, how still I want to make sure that if these two values are same, okay, references are different. I'm talking about the values here, right? How do I check the values are same or not? I'll say here if, okay, instead of saying that, I'll just say sys out and say name 1 dot equals name 2. All right. So here, copy this and paste it out here equals to. So what am I doing? There is a method known as equals, which basically compares the value between two objects. Okay. If you want, you can very well go inside this and see all this implementation, which we don't want to see that because we are everything is abstracted to us and we just need to invoke this particular functionality. The same way, there are a bunch of APIs. So this I say it as an API or a method, which will be in handy to you in Java. So the only thing is you need to know whether those APIs are present or not. If it is present, how to use it as well. Okay. Now here, let us see, right click, run as Java application. Now this is giving me as true. Okay, now this name1 dot equals to name2 equals to true. Okay, the same thing if I just say here, name1 equals to name2. Okay, so this is your equals to name2. Right click, run as Java application. It says false, but this says true because you are comparing the values in this. So name1 and name2 are reference variables. Yes, those are basically the references. Okay, the actual object is this one. So to this particular object, your name1 is a reference, name11 is also a reference, and you are assigning the value of the name1 to your name11. Okay. Can we do the dot equals for only string, or we can do it with integer double? Integer double, those are all primitive data types. Okay. So one of the question arises is int I equals to 10 and int j equals to 10. Can I have something like I dot equals? No, on primitives you do not have any of the methods defined for that. Okay, so for that reason, what you can do is, if I say j equals to new of integer of 10. Now if you see here, something is happening here. The object, I am referring this object to a primitive type. Okay, or the other way out, if I say integer I equals to 10. Do you see the difference here? I'm having an object out here. This is an object again. This is a class again. Okay. Everything is a class in Java. Okay. So if you see, this is also a kind of a class which is extending XYZ class and implementing some other interfaces here. Okay. Okay, there's a good question. I'll just copy and paste that question. I think everybody have seen that question. Okay, is there a equals to also? I think Adil, I have to send you to the Java folks to implement this. Okay, you can very well go and give your suggestions to them, so they will implement it for you for sure. Okay. All right, so this is not possible. Okay. All right, so here what's happening is this is a primitive data type. So whenever you say something like int I equals to 10, okay, let me comment this out. This is your primitive data type. And when I say integer I equals to new of integer, this is actually the wrapper representation of a primitive data type. Okay. Oh, okay.
Jerome, I'm sorry, Jerome, I might have missed it. What's the primitive data type?
Primitive data type is just your integer, int integer or a byte, okay, or short, okay, or long. These are all primitive data types, okay. So for every primitive data type, there is a wrapper data type also. All right, the same way if you see here for integer int, I say as a integer. For byte, there is already a class that is a byte. All right, so that is the only difference here. Usually when we talk about serialization, we'll see down the line, everything has to be, because when we talk about advanced Java, when you try to invoke a method from the remote system, you want to get some information back. Okay, the way you are saying public int call me, right? So this call is returning you some integer. Okay, so we'll see how we are going to use. We will be using all wrapper data type, which is very important for us to understand. Okay, so down the line, which we will see what a wrapper data type also is. Okay, as of now, just understand that for every primitive data type, you have got a wrapper data type also. Okay, which is in the form of an object. Okay, now I was talking about this, wherein you are having an integer I, and on the right hand side, you're not saying new of integer, instead, you're just saying a primitive data type. On the other side, you say int j, and you say j equals to new of, this is a primitive. To a primitive, you are basically assigning a new object. Okay. Now, these kind of functionality is known as auto boxing. Okay. So whenever you come across any of the term as auto boxing, that means you're basically converting your primitive to wrapper, or wrapper to primitive. I is object. No, yeah, I is an object reference here. Okay, this I is an object reference, but this j is not an object reference. It is a primitive data type out here. But again, as this auto boxing 1.4 was not there, came in 1.5. Okay, so this is a feature which has come up in 1.5, JDK 1.5. All right, so before that.
Jerome, I didn't get this. So why do you have new integer in brackets? Oh, that means you don't have to define it separately. That's what you mean?
No,
Like you don't have
usually
to integer I equals 10, you can just use integer j equals
okay.
you don't have, like you're giving, basically what you're doing is you're saying that the j has the value of 10. Is that what you're saying?
J has got a value of 10. Okay.
But where does integer come in? Like what
Integer
is the
is coming
significance?
because I just wanted to introduce a wrapper data type out here. Okay. Now usually you could have told something int k equals to 10 also. Okay. But as I'm saying, for every primitive data type, there is a class for it also. And that class is nothing but your integer, integer. Okay, because in Java, everything you'll be having, you're going to deal with classes at all completely. Is that okay? Is that clear? Or it's not clear?
No, I got it. So integer here is basically just a simple class. That's what it is.
Yes, it is a separate class here. Okay. The same way, there are a lot of other classes which are representing your primitive data types. Okay. Can we do integer I equals to some character or string? Integer I equals to some character or string? No, this is not possible. If I say some integer out here, this is going to give me a compile time error. Okay, you cannot basically have different data types out here. Okay.
I have a question here. If we say that int is not a class an integer is a class,
Mm-hmm.
so then how we can say int j is equal to new integer?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain here. In JDK 1.4, this functionality was not there. Okay. In JDK 1.5, this functionality has come, that is known as your auto boxing. Because here you're talking about an integer and you're creating an object, but no doubt when on the left hand side you're using a wrapper data type here, so automatically this data gets converted to your integer value as j equals to 10. Okay, so this is all is being underlined, which is being defined, and we're just trying to use it. Okay, so if I say sys out, if j equals to 10, so right click, run as Java application, I get the value is true here. Okay, so if I say j equals to k, right click, run as Java application, it is true again. Okay, or if I say j equals to I, what is I? I is on the top, right click, run as Java application, it is true again. Okay. All right, I think it's time we have to move on. Next session, I'm going to talk much about strings, wherein we'll see what are the features present in your strings. We just initiated it, but I think we haven't completed anything out of it. We'll be talking about string pool, which is again one of the important concepts to understand, because string pool is the one which basically takes care of your kind of a, you don't end up using a lot of memory. Okay, so we'll see how those things are happening in case of your strings itself. Okay, now what is the reason we are saying something like this, place equals to New Jersey? Why we are not saying string place 1 equals to new string of New Jersey? Both are same. Okay, so why I should not say place equals to New Jersey? Sorry, why should I say as place equals to New Jersey instead of saying place equals to new of string New Jersey? Okay, we'll talk about these things by tomorrow. All right, so if no questions, we'll just wind up.
Jairam, this is actually not a little off the subject. Are we going to be learning Java Enterprise Edition also? Java.
Yeah, once we complete the core Java, we'll be talking about Enterprise Editions as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Next class is tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. EST. All right, guys, thank you. Have a good night.
H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.